So good morning, everyone. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming in the morning. I know it's early. My name is Hana Klingova. I work as a software engineer, and today I want to share my experience with code reviews. A few months back, we were with my team in a position that we started hating each other. Basically, we had several group chats, and always one person was missing, and that was the one person we were just talking about, like, oh my God, he's such an idiot writing his code reviews. And whenever I am in doubt or I don't know what to do, I go to the wisdom of Star Wars because I'm a huge fan. So I start thinking, okay, let's make a trip to a galaxy far, far away, and let's see how my favorite characters would write code reviews, and if I can learn something from them, and if I can take it to my day-to-day job. So, of course, I started with my favorite, and I guess everybody's favorite, because everybody loves this guy, right? Everybody loves Chewbacca. What can Chewbacca does wrong? Well, actually, probably quite a lot, because if you imagine he has this sound, right? So how he would write a code review? He would probably just, start screaming at you. It would be lots of sounds, but just written. It would just make no sense at all, right? So it would really, you would read it and you would say, okay, it's just like that weird Wookiee screaming at me. It's not helpful at all. So that would not help my team. And just like to imagine how that one comment may look like it is written by Chewbacca. It would be something like, oh no, coding style, not working code, right? Code duplication, inconsistent naming, performance. As the person writing some code, making some changes, I don't know what to do, right? That would definitely not help my team. So in case you want to take something from today, just please don't channel your inner Chewbacca. We all have it. We all sometimes open the GitHub and we just start screaming at the screen. It's okay, just do it in the safe of your office or your home office. But please just don't write it, right? Let's get inspired by someone else. And then okay, who may be the next character, right? Okay, probably the wisest guy, like Master Yoda. He's the wise guy. Maybe he has the recipe for perfect code reviews. Well, how would Master Yoda write code reviews? He has the wisdom, but I would say the form is not good, right? Because whenever he speaks, it sounds nice, but it's just very misleading, right? We all know that those kind of people, they just talk a lot. But you need to read in between the lines. You just need to search for the keywords. It just doesn't make sense. It just sounds like he knows everything. So, okay. This is some example of how it may look like, right? He may write something like, design patterns overlook, they are. Powerful tools they can be. Study them you must. Okay, that's nice, but goddamn, what do I need to fix, right? It's just, there's no guidance, right? We can definitely do better. I expect someone to not just tell me what the problem is, but how to fix it. So, yeah, Master Yoda is definitely better, but it's not the recipe I needed, right? I need somebody who can just give me the advice. So who may be that one? Yeah, probably my favorite character of all time, Darth Vader, right? He would not mess around. He would just tell you what to do, right? That's true, but maybe he's too direct, right? It would be just do this or I force choke you. There's no room for discussion. He's the right one. Everybody would probably be scared, right? But let's be honest, just let's do a quick survey. Has anybody has this kind of person in the team? Just like telling you what to do, not discussing. Yeah. Few of us, yes. So they are among us. They are definitely not perfect. This might be like let's take something like duplication is a sign of your weakness, eliminate it or force my anger. So yeah, this is also like not ideal. But like, let's imagine like before he became that like commanding person, he was actually quite a nice guy, right? Maybe like a bit cocky, but he was actually a quiet guy who had the empathy, who wanted to improve himself. So maybe the answer is just like, let's be more like Anakin. Yeah, maybe that's the person I want in my team, right? Just trying to say how to be better. Just he always didn't like the old kind of doing ways. He was like against the Jedi Order in a sense that it's outdated. It's not good enough. He was thinking outside the box, right? So that may be the kind of person you want to review your code. It may be something like long functions are like tangled webs in the forest. Let's break them down into manageable focus units of logic. And that's actually something we can start work with, right? That's actually a feedback that makes sense, and that was something I was missing in my team. So whenever writing the code, it's not about like channeling the Chewbacca and just like complaining without making sense. It's not about commanding someone like a Darth Vader, and it's definitely not just about showing off how smart you are, right? Just try to write it with empathy, try to provide reasons why something is wrong, and try to provide guidance. So yeah, that was like, okay, now I had the wisdom, right? And I was start asking, okay, but is there something, I can't go to my team and let's say, hey, let's all be Anakins, right? I need to solve the idea. And I was doing some research and I actually found something what is called conventional comments. And like this search gave me to that. I think you may know something like conventional commits. It's basically like some guidance how to write a feedback, right? And with conventional comments, you actually start writing each comment by saying what kind of comment it is. And then you just write the message, right? And I was thinking about this because we had few people, and sometimes like there was like dozens of comments. Yeah. And just imagine like I write dozens of comments, and that person fixes all of them but one. But that one was the critical I really needed him to fix. And it led to like more iterations. So I said, okay, maybe this will actually solve two of our issues. It would solve some hierarchy, like communicating how crucial something is, and it will also solve how we say things, right? So with conventional comments, you mark something as an issue, and if somebody says issue is like, okay, this is a must fix. It's like not negotiable. It's actually like not working. There may be something what you mark as a fix. It's just saying, hey, you should also fix this one. You know, it's not like crucial, like application is not working or there's some leak or something, but it still needs to be fixed. You can mark it as a suggestions. It means, okay, I'm suggesting this change to you, but you don't need to fix it if you don't want to, or we can discuss it, right? Sometimes you just have a question. You are just curious about something. So again, you can use a prefix question, and the person knows he should answer, like not going to some changes, but he should answer. There's going to be a discussion, and we will find out the best solution. There's also like something called nitpick. I know a guy who's like, we called him a king of nitpicks. It means like it was 10 things, mostly personal preferences. Just nitpick is something, if you have the inner need to say it, but it does not affect the changes in your code almost at all. Just mark it as nitpick. People like me will just like, skip it at all. Some people may read it and just fix it. And also one which is praise. It's just when you really want to just say, hey, this is like good job, well done. And I think it's sometimes also good to say something is good, not just focus on the bad one. Like especially if you are giving a review to a junior, there's lots of things to be fixed. Just find one thing that is positive and write also something positive. So what makes a good review in a sense like of the written message, right? If you use conventional commits, it gets you far enough. I must say, like, when we start using it, in 2 weeks, it improved the way of, like, how we felt about code reviews. We start, like, complaining less because we know what's important for that person, what's not. We discovered that one person is just a nitpicker, right? Okay, but it did not bother us because we said, oh, okay, this is just the way he is. We can just ignore it, right? Another thing is just try to explain stuff. Don't be just that person who writes just like, rewrite this, change this. Just explain why. Sometimes try to provide guidance, like you can link to some article or documentation so the person understands why is he doing this. Because like nobody likes rewriting code, right? It's my code. If I am rewriting it, I want to know why. And the goal of the code review is not making every code looks like it was written by the most senior person in the team. So just don't try to make it look like it was written by you, right? That's not the important part. Also, if possible, don't nitpick excessively. You will probably just piss people. And this was one of the rules I had to establish because we had a problem with this. If you are doing a second round of the review, just focus on the change stuff and the new ones. Just don't try to go to things you already approve and you were okay with it, just to try to find 1 or 2 things that can be approved. It really just, it's not good for the team. They will probably hate you, right, for this. I think also when you are reviewing a junior's work, just try to find something positive or don't be just negative. Like, I've seen it, like, it demotivates them. It's really not good. Bear in mind that there are some cultural differences. I think here in Czech Republic, we are very direct, and it's okay if I say to a colleague in the office, I just look at him, I say, hey, are you serious? This trash? And he would just smile, right? He would be okay. But I also have like colleagues from all around the world, especially Europe, and I cannot afford to communicate with them like this. So it usually like I have to start with like, okay, it's overall really good. It's on a good way, but I have just like, just few comments, usually about a dozen, right? Or it's like, oh, it's really like looking good. But it's not actually fixing the issue, so let's work on it, right? Just let's be positive. Especially like if you have someone from America, sometimes you really need to think about what you are saying because you don't want to get yourself into trouble. And I was actually in a meeting when I had to defend one person for the way he comments things, that he didn't mean it like bad. It's just the way he communicates. It's just the way like we Czech people communicate. But it was just not perceived well by someone else. So maybe just try to avoid this. Also, one that happens to me, if you suggest some snippet of the code, like change this to this, make sure it actually works. Like just yesterday I received a suggestion and I was like, okay, that's nice. I would love it works that way, but if I change it, the application will just break. It won't even compile. So it's just like, it's nice that you want to provide the code, but just make sure it actually works. I would also say just don't try always to keep like your PR just small, because if you start solving more and more issues, then probably it never will get through because you are focusing on way too many things. And also, using conventional commits doesn't mean it has to be boring. I always try to be personal because I know the people. So, of course, if I am contributing to open source, I don't know these people. But if I do, sometimes I write a haiku, or just I ask ChatGPT to write some laugh poem for the code. I think using an emojis always work, because if we can't see each other, it really softens how the message is perceived. So I would say definitely try to use also some emojis. And also remember, there's the other side of it, right? It's not just about person commenting it. It's also about the other person. Just if you create a PR, just try to think about the changes you are doing. Try to describe it. Try to, if there are some lines of code, like here I had to make a decision when I was writing it, just write it there. You just, you are just being proactive. You won't receive that like comment or like question or suggestions because you said, hey, I decided to do it like this because of some reason, right? You are basically just avoiding the discussion. You can also include, if it's some change in the UI, just include some image or GIFs. It just really helps to the person reviewing it. You can also even just point out in the comment, like, okay, I'm solving this. There are some other issues, but I'm not solving them for some reason. It will be solved separately or something. It's, again, about being proactive. And I was even contributing to some open source project, and this really helped me because in open source, it's usually you get a review, and if you need to change something, you may sometimes in some projects like wait a day, 1, 2, or 3 days, right? So just being proactive, it showed that I know what I am doing. It communicated it well, and the person understand it better. So maybe next time you will be opening PR, just try to be helpful to the other person. There's always 2 people in every relationship, and code review is something like some interaction between 2 people. So if you are nice, probably they will be nicer to you. And just an example, like everything was nice, but even I sometimes just admit that I'm doing something wrong. We have a rule about like having 1 PR per 1 ticket, so I just said, okay, I know, but I also solved the other 2 because just, I didn't sleep well. And I ended it with, I hope I will not burn in hell for this. And that was actually the one that made the person reviewing it smile, and he said, okay, it's okay this time. I will forgive you this time. So maybe just always, like, if it's in the team with the people you are working day-to-day basis, just don't be afraid like to joke a bit. You can get away with things you would not get away normally. Okay, so thanks a lot for your attention. If you have any questions, comments, maybe conventional comments, I will be glad to discuss it with you. Everything related to Star Wars, everything to code reviews, or anything like related to development. Thank you very much.